Deputy Chief. He'll be coming in to speak to you guys. So for his spelling, it's Deputy Chief Trekell, Treke.
Recent homicide of individual, 17-year-old young male that occurred on April the 9th, 2024 in the Washington Oak subdivision. At approximately 8 p.m., a shooting occurred on April the 9th, 2024. A short time later, Sadarion Cosby, he was brought to HCA Florida Hospital, Lake Monroe Hospital, and he died due to a gunshot wound in the abdomen. He was brought into to the hospital by two individuals in a vehicle. The shooting occurred on Ellen Place and Scott Drive. We have surveillance footage of a black Kia K5. The vehicle backed into the cul-de-sac, and Cosby and 3 others approached the driver's side, and there's a confrontation. The vehicle that was shared on the media of a vehicle that was leaving the hospital on a tow truck was a vehicle that brought Cosby into the hospital. During the investigation, it was discovered that a confrontation occurred at the vehicle, and the driver of the K5 fires 1 shot. An individual at the scene with the multicolored hoodie returns fire. The driver of the K5 flees in the vehicle. An individual with a multicolored hoodie and another associate helped Cosby to the vehicle at 115 Scott Drive. Cosby's associates lingered near the incident location, attempting to hide evidence. Cosby's associates flee after a few minutes. Individuals from 115 Scott Drive and take Cosby to a local hospital. We will discuss the identification of the associates towards the end of this presentation. The actions of the associates were captured on surveillance from a number of angles. During the investigation, the K5 and the driver, the use of a license plate reader was able to identify the potential vehicle. Tip from Sanford Police Department social media posts leads to the identification of the driver. It is important, as we see here in this instance, that we receive assistance from the community. That's very important with us resolving these incidents. We need help from the community. The Sanford Police Department can't do it alone. We've increased patrols. We've exhausted many resources, and we will continue to do so. But tips from the community helps us bring these individuals to justice. The driver of the K5 was interviewed. A meeting was arranged with the driver. Now, what you saw in that video was the driver of the K5. He was backed in and waiting. Cosby and associates, they walked back and forth before approaching. That's not captured in this video, it's captured in another video. Cosby and associates approach the car and interact for approximately 15 seconds. Cosby and the associates, they pull out a firearm and attempt to reach into the vehicle to rob the driver. The driver pulls out a firearm and fires 1 round, hitting Cosby in the abdomen as he was leaned onto the window. And the individual with the multicolored jacket shoots at the vehicle as he is running from the scene. Now, the current status of the investigation. The driver, he shot in fear as he was being robbed. Cosby and the associates planned to rob the driver. A homicide occurred during the commission of a felony, and the individuals responsible will be charged. On today, we arrested 1 suspect in this incident. The suspect is Sadarion Cosby. He is in custody. He's charged with 2nd-degree felony murder and attempted robbery with a firearm. The second suspect, we believe to be the individual with the multicolored jacket or hoodie, is Terrell Walker. Walker has an active warrant for those same charges: 2nd-degree felony murder and attempted robbery with a firearm. Again, we're asking the community or any individuals that may have information about this incident to come forward. We need your help to get this dangerous individual off of the street. Too many times, families have to bury loved ones at an early age because of senseless violence on our streets. That won't be tolerated by the Sanford Police Department. Enough is enough. There's a 3rd individual that has yet to be identified. We have a photo from the surveillance footage He's the unidentified suspect. If any individual out there can also help us identify this individual as well, we want to bring him in and take appropriate action. As I stand here with a heavy heart, as families have to bury loved ones at an early age, I have a child, and it's heavy to stand here under these circumstances. So individuals in the community that know something about this, help us, help our community. Help us get these individuals off the street. Like I said before, enough is enough. If you have any information about this, you can call the Sanford Police Department or any other homicide. Contact the Sanford Police Department or Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. Thank you.
Chief, I mean, I know this is a separate case from what happened yesterday.
Correct.
But I mean, we had a 16-year-old with a gun shooting people allegedly out at Live Cabana, or Cabana Live, on Sunday. We've got a 16-year-old who was shot in the leg at Ninth and Holly yesterday. You got two 17-year-old young ladies that were shot on Scott Drive. There seems to be just like this spate of violence among kids under the age of 18. What do you want to say to the community about that?
Individuals in our community that know who's out here committing these crimes and not saying anything about it is just as bad as the individuals that are out committing the crime. By protecting them, keeping them in our community, it allows them to continue to torture our community. And in some instances, innocent lives are lost.
So the people who you got one in custody, one you're looking for, one you're trying to identify.
Correct.
They're all part of the Cosby group, right? None of those guys are in the car.
I'm sorry?
The guy you have in custody, the guy that you're looking for, and the guy that's unidentified, they all were with Cosby that night. They're not people who were in that Kia.
Correct, they were not in the Kia.
So it was them attempting a robbery on the driver, and then their own partner getting shot and killed makes them culpable to his murder.
Correct.
Chief, were the driver a minor?
I don't believe it was a minor, I believe it was an adult.
You don't have that information.
What about the parents of all of these kids? You know, how cooperative are they with you? What's their demeanor been like throughout this?
We want anyone that has information about this to cooperate with us. The parents may not be the ones with the information about what's going on in the community. Sometimes it's community members. Sometimes it's friends of these individuals that knows what's going on in our community, and we want them to come forward. If the parents have information, if we get full cooperation, that's what we're asking for, full cooperation from our victims. Sometimes we don't get full cooperation from our victims, and we need full cooperation in order to get full prosecution.
Talk a little bit about full cooperation. What is that?
Full cooperation means more than just wanting to tell us what occurred without writing a statement, wanting to cooperate until it's time for them to produce. For instance, we may need to look at their cell phone. We may need to have them write a statement for us. And full cooperation means cooperating with us throughout the entire process.
And Chief, we had mentioned, it was just certainly a violent, few days here in the Sanford area. So my question for you, thinking of those two teenage girls, one that was shot in the head, there's a GoFundMe out right now. Her family clearly devastated by this, wanting answers. And you hear about Scott Drive, where this happened as well. Would you say that Scott Drive is an area where you guys see a lot of activity, especially with shootings?
We have increased our patrols throughout our entire city and the hot spots that these incidents have occurred in, and we intend to address these aggressively to get these individuals off of our streets.
All right, that's it. I can stay after if there's any random questions that you guys want to ask. That you want to hear, but
Will you
that's
be
it.
sending that video that was in
Yes,
the thing
if you
and all that stuff?
send me your, or shoot me an email and say like PowerPoint or video, I'll shoot your way.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, we're all gonna try to turn it around in time for the 6 o'clock news.
I will scurry right upstairs and
Scurry,
see you.
scurry away.
Yes, and can I get your email?
I'm sorry.
You can stay on.
Now, gonna swear that around, chief. We'll keep monitoring your movements.
Do you know the first time that we did this with the Bluetooth mic, that's what happened, is I did the briefing on scene, and then I stepped off, and Chief, who, he never does it when I do that, he decided to jump in after and say something, and I was mic'd, and I was off to the side, and he was up there, and it got me talking off the side of the mic.
Well, at least they didn't catch you going to the Capitol.